So I'm joined this morning by a fellow you'll have heard at Ibrox every other week, booming out of the tannoy. It's the Rangers announcer, Michael Smith. How are you doing, Michael?
How you doing, Derek? All right, thanks for having me, mate. It's good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. It's great to see yourself after so long, after working with each other at the good old L107 back in the day.
Exactly. I know this isn't the first time we've actually met because we've got history. That's right. We go back a good few years. Last time I saw you, I think it was maybe the Hamilton Palace. But in working terms, it was for a radio station that was like. Aye, it was running like a bit like a circus, but it was a great laugh. You and I made good fun out of it anyway, didn't we? So it's good to see you again after all these years.
It was a carry on, that's for sure. Michael, you're obviously the man on the mic at Ibrox. Can you tell us how that all came about? When did you first get asked to do it? And just give us a wee bit of background about yourself and all that, and how the signing came about.
Signing, they call me the Bosman. Well, I'm thinking it's 2017. That's when I get a phone call, and it was from the market department at Rangers. But before then, they were looking to change it up, looking to change the match day experience. And my name had popped up because I've worked in radio in Glasgow for a good few years, so they knew of my name. And Big Bobber Brown was working in the Rangers at the time, who knew my dad. So he says, I know his dad, so I'll get a contact for you. And they phoned me. It was a guy called Hector. He's no longer there anymore, but he was a great guy. So he phoned me and says, come in, we'll give you a tour of Ibrox. I've done several tours of Ibrox over the years, but Bobber took me around the stadium, showed me what it was all about, which I kind of knew anyway, but it was good to see it again. And get offered a 3-game trial, and if that was successful, then they would keep me on, and so be it. It was successful. I think we had a game against Dunfermline, which was a cup game, so the stadium would have been a wee bit quieter. So I thought it was a good game to break in and sort of get rid of the nerves, because it was quite a big deal, working at Ibrox, working for a team that you've supported all your days, to go and do the match day announcing. So did that and did another couple of games after that. And thankfully got invited back. So here I am, five seasons on.
Yeah, like you say, Michael, a Rangers fan. Have you been going to Ibrox since you were a young boy, I'd imagine?
Yeah. I think I struggle. I'm terrible with years, right? But I think it was 92 or 94. We played Dunfermline, and the game. No, sorry. We played. It was St Mirren we played, and that game secured us a league that year. And it was my dad that had taken me. And I just remember what a buzz the atmosphere in that stadium. I was like, I want more of this. And so ever since then, I was going regularly throughout every season. There was maybe a wee lull in the sort of later years. You get married and you you meet your partner, so there's not always as many opportunities at that time to get to games. But went to a lot throughout the seasons. And I absolutely loved it, and it's great to be back there and working at them, being part of that match day atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you've got plenty of experience behind the mic at radio and DJing and all that, Michael. But in terms of you're stepping into the announcing at Ibrox, was there any nerves or anything like that when you done it for the first time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of course. And I think anybody that does that line of work, if they say, I'm not nervous, then I think it's a bit of a lie, but it's adrenaline as well, you're excited and you're not wanting to make a mess of things, and you obviously want to make an impression, because whether you like it or not, you're a new voice to that stadium, you're going to be heavily judged, so you want to at least get through it smoothly without making any big mistakes. So the nerves are there, but once you open that microphone up and see your first link, whether it's welcoming the fans to Ibrox, whether it's mentioning a sponsor or the teams or whatever it is, the nerves are there. And now I wouldn't call it so much nerves, but I would just call it adrenaline. The minute you're throwing that microphone up, ready to say something, it's just sheer energy, and it's such a buzz. But the first time, you've got to say, of course there was nerves there, but quickly after that, you settle into it. The professional head's on, and as you say, I've experienced it for years working in radio, and even doing that. At first there was always the nerves, and now it's just second nature. You go up and you go about your business, but it was some feeling, just an amazing feeling, just to be in control of the mic and the music, and sort of try and feed the fans some energy to get them going. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does the typical day look like then, Michael, on a Saturday or whenever Rangers are playing up to kick-off?
Yeah,
and,
well,
even after kick-off, obviously, with the announcements.
Well, that's it. Yeah, home games. Obviously, that's the games that I'm mostly working at. In fact, all of them really. I think I've maybe missed one or two.
Yeah.
I think one of them was due to me getting married, so I don't think I would have been allowed to do a game that day. I'll go into two hours before kick-off. I'll go into the stadium, and I'll be given a running order, and so I'll go through and I'll write sometimes maybe a bit where I want to say something or add things onto the running order or shuffle things about. But I mean, the guys at Ibrox are brilliant. Most of it's all organised. It's there for me. What's happening, where and when, and times may vary. Sometimes it just depends. Something can happen in a match day that wasn't expected, so you maybe need to do something else. But there's a great group of guys around me. You've got the IT guys, you've got the guys that work the screens, you've got the guys that work the advertising boards, the guys that are in charge of the sound system. So there's a good team that we've got in our wee PA booth, so that you get a good laugh with the guys. So if you go in, plenty of time in front, get organised, get through your running order, work out what you're doing, working out your songs that you're going to play, there's guys that send me sort of promotional songs as well, so I'll go through their playlists and pick what ones I want to take off it to play pre-match, and then it's just about waiting and the fans coming in. The majority of the fans are probably with half an hour to sort of 15 minutes before kick-off they come in, so it quickly gains momentum with the energy and the music, the levels going up, the speaker on the microphone doing the teams and things. And yeah, the next thing, sort of maybe half an hour before kick-off, well, maybe even just about an hour actually, I'll get the team sheets.
Yeah. And
the first thing I do is go through the away team, make sure I know all the names, which I normally do because obviously it's the league games, then you do know a lot of them, and I do my research before I go to Ibrox. But just in case there's a spanner in the works, just making sure I know how to pronounce them. And then, of course, the Rangers team, which obviously we know all the players, and just get yourself familiar with that for when it comes to the point when you're having to announce them in front of the fans.
See, when you talk about the music, I was interested to find out the sort of thought process that you decide what tunes to play at certain points in terms of the lead up to kickoff. How do you decide what tune to play?
So 15 minutes before kickoff, it's Rangers songs, so I'll play this stuff off the classic album, with the follow every other Saturday, Blue Sea of Ibrox. But obviously we've had recent additions in a couple of years. Four Lads Had a Dream, which just goes down brilliant.
Yeah.
Every Saturday we follow is just personally my favourite at the moment, so I'll play them as close to kick-off as possible because they're the tunes that are going to get the biggest reaction. And over the years, you've had the likes of Penny Arcade. That's maybe getting a wee rest at the moment. But I played it actually at the last game that we had there. So some songs will maybe rest so the fans don't sort of get annoyed hearing it all the time. And there's other sort of certainties that you play, like, the big I'm Feeling It tune just now from the Sunset Brothers. Just at the time when we won 55, and then actually we played Celtic at the start of this season. We played it at full time, and the place just erupted. And by the way, I'm not going to take full credit for that, right? One of the guys, Alan, that I work with in the PA booth, I says, "What are you thinking about full time?" I said, "What would you suggest?" I was going to go with Live It Up, right? But we'd done that in previous sort of old firms. And Alan had said, "I'm feeling it." And I thought, brilliant, absolutely, and I've never seen a stadium like it. It just erupted. The place was shaking. So that's a song that I still like to introduce pre-match as well. And mostly the songs pre-match, within half an hour to kick off, all the songs are taken care of. So you've got the likes of Ryan Kent's song, you've got Sakala's song now. The fans are singing to the song of Super Trooper. So if I play those kind of songs, it's going to get them singing. And then just before that, before the sort of big build, I'll just be picking chart songs, just sort of uplifting songs. And as I say, I've got a company that send me new releases, so I'll throw some of them in there and just try and introduce the fans to some new songs as well. But half an hour to 15 minutes before kick-off. It's songs that fans know, it's songs that they can react to, and it's songs that get them going before kick-off, you know, at 3 o'clock or 12 or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the players in terms of like the goal music and all that sort of stuff. What's the thinking behind that? Is that a joint effort as well? And do the players have any input with regards to that?
Well, at first, when I got there, I'd asked my boss, can you go around the players and see what song they would like for their goal songs, you know? And Kenny Miller was still there at the time, and he'd asked for, it was a Foo Fighters song, right? And I've still not found this song to this day, by the way. But anyway, I don't think he scored, so I didn't have to play it anyway. But Ryan Jack had asked for a song. There was a song called Jack, which was from a kind of dance music production duo. I think they were called Breach. Right. And I think I played that once or twice for him. But mostly nowadays, like the Wigfield Saturday night thing for Scotty Arfield, the fans sing that. They came up with that song, you know, so I just listen out for what the fans are singing for the player. And then I'll think, right, I'll grab that. That could be a good goal song. So not every player's got a goal song. It was a joy to play Hollander's goal song because it's no one that you play often. The ABBA song, and it was even better to do it in an Old Firm as well, which was just brilliant. And again, the fans went mental. So I listened to what the fans are singing about the players and what song it is, and then I think that would be a good goal song. I'll dig it out, and play it for them. But the generic goal songs that we've got the Scooter one, and I think I'd heard that it was either I think it was a German stadium that had played it, the Scooter Maria song, and I just thought that would be brilliant. You know, it's something the fans could sing back to you. And then the same with the Dutch anthem that I've been playing when Giovanni came. Well, I'd actually been playing it since the summer, and then everyone thought I had an insight into Giovanni coming to Ibrox, but it was sheer coincidence, mate. You know, I'm not going to lie. It was sheer coincidence, but it was just brilliant that he came. So I've started playing that regularly as a goal song, and well, from the impression I get, I think the fans like it. There'll always be one or two that maybe don't, but I think the majority enjoy it, so it's good. Yeah.
See, when you joined 2017, you said there, Michael, I mean, it seems like a lifetime ago now to where Rangers are now. Have you sensed that as well in the stands and what have you? There's a right feel-good factor back in the club now, isn't there?
Unbelievable. It really is. It's frightening, actually. Yeah. From what it was like when I was there and results weren't always going our way, you know. Yeah. You could just feel that with the fans, with the staff around you, you know, because we're Rangers fans, you know, and you could feel it was still a difficult time, you know. It wasn't the most difficult of times as to where we had been, you know, when I got there, but it was still in the process. But I'm trying to think. I think it was Graham Murty and Cacinia had come in, and then Gerrard. So even that process with Pedro, and then on to Gerrard, you know. But you could sense how quick it was beginning to change when Steven Gerrard came in, and I mean, what a job he did. It was fantastic, and you can feel it from the fans from the beginning when I got there to now. Just the difference in the energy in the stadium, just through that time, it's just gone up and up and up and up, and it's great days to be around the club at the moment. It really is. Oh yeah, then with your job as well, I mean, you get to meet a whole lot of Rangers legends, of course, like Sir Paul Gascoigne and what have you. Is there anyone that sticks out? Any tales to tell? What's it like meeting these guys, Michael? It's great. The half-time draw stuff's brilliant. It's been a bit disappointing during COVID. We've not been allowed out onto the park to do the half-time draw, so we need to do it inside. Yeah. There's still a Rangers legend that draws it, but I don't get to interview them. You know, it's just do the draw and get the numbers and announce them out. But you know, during the first few years before COVID, when you're allowed out onto the park, Gaza, what a character, you know. I felt like giving him a cuddle that day. You know, he was so taken aback with the response he got from the fans. You know, he started tearing up, and he said it was just great to be there. And he's always a laugh. You know, he's just looking to crack a joke. So the interview kind of took care of itself. You know, it's only a kind of short time that you get to spend with him because you've got to do the draw, and then there's other things happening. The players are back out for the second half. So that interview sort of takes care of itself with Gaza, because he'll just chat and he'll crack jokes and things like that and waving to the fans and things. But he's a standout, definitely a standout for me. But even like Ian Durrant as well. Ian Durrant was brilliant. He's good with the fans. The fans love him. And even guys before my time, as well, just interviewing some of the Barca 72 boys and things like that as well, is just fantastic. It's just great to get to meet all these different people, and fingers crossed we're back out in the park soon and doing it again, because it's great for the fans as well. The fans love listening to what happened years gone by, and just reminiscing of great times, winning trophies and things like that. So it's always good to catch up with a Rangers legend. They're great chat all the time.
Yeah. See, when you mentioned that the whole COVID thing there, last season, of course, was weird without the supporters, and of course, in Boxing Day, that the fans weren't in either. How challenging is that for you, Michael, and how difficult is it?
It was strange, I must admit. First of all, delighted to have a gig, because nightclubs, pubs and things is my business as well. I DJ all over Scotland, and all that was done. So there was obviously a slight break in the football, but then when it came back to finish the season, the Premier League came back to finish the season. Obviously, we didn't. So when it did come back, the season into the next season, it was just great to get back to football. But it was very strange that there was no fans in. But I'd been watching it on the telly before, because the English season, they carried on their season. So I was watching it, and you could hear on the telly, the stadium announcers were there. They were announcing the teams. And I thought, good, we'll maybe be able to do that up here, which we did. But when you're saying things and you're getting no reaction back, it's very bizarre. So you're announcing the team to nobody. But actually, one of the main influences was Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard says, listen, I want this to be as close to a match day as possible. Which part of that job is having me there playing music and shouting and, making the stadium nice and loud when there's goals and things. So, I don't think it was entirely his decision, but it was obviously a good word put in to get us back, because there was people asking me, like watching their telly and messaging me, what are you doing? What's the need for you at Ibrox, So my reply was just, Steven Gerrard wanted me there. That was the kind of joke about it. But it was just great to have a gig, and lucky enough, to get to a live football match, because obviously thousands weren't, and I really felt for the fans. But it was great to be there and be involved in a match day when hundreds of thousands couldn't get to games.
Yeah. Hopefully that's the end of that. In terms of, there was a little chuckle recently when the man of the match was announced. Of course, the sponsors pick it, Michael. I can't remember the game it was, but Yanis Hadji was named. The crowd sort of burst out laughing. Is it hard when you get that little slip saying who the man of the match is, and you have to announce that and not start laughing?
Well, we all have our own opinions, don't we? And we all have our own man of the matches. So it's the sponsors that pick the man of the match, right? And sometimes I'm quite happy to tell the stadium it's the sponsors when it's one that you maybe don't agree with. And that was a particular day that I didn't agree with, and I think 50,000 disagreed as well. Right? It was a game against Dundee United, and we won 1-0 through a penalty. Yeah. And Hadji, I think it's not the Panenka. What's the other one? The guy's
name? The Rabona.
What was that again?
The Rabona right out the park.
Rabona. Yeah. It's right to Rabona, but the 85th minute, you know what I mean? And the ball goes out the park. So we are decking ourselves when the man of the match comes through. Literally seconds just after that, you're like, oh no! But it gave us a good laugh. And actually, when I announced it, the stadium laughed. They laughed. But I mean, of course, it's a shame on Yanis because he's a fantastic player. Oh, yeah. And I absolutely love him. But I don't think there'd be many other players that we could have picked that day anyway. Yeah. It wasn't our best performance, you know what I mean? But it was quite funny just hearing the stadium laugh back at me when I announced that.
It was a 3 points and up the road job, that one. And,
exactly, absolutely. That's what it's all about, you know.
yeah, most definitely. And have you done any sort of gaffes or any interesting points when doing the announcing, Michael, that sort of bring a little smile, a little tear of laughter to the eye?
there's one time that stands out for me. There's maybe the odd mistake now and again, just natural mistake or whatever, which probably the fans wouldn't point out, but I do. I'm my own worst critic, so I do see things. But one that I can get away with, which the fans definitely heard. You remember we were playing FK Scoopy, and there'd been a Europa qualifier.
Yeah.
So I'm in the booth, and reading the foreign players can be difficult, right? Sometimes they get someone in and they help me with the team names and things like that, and which can be a massive help. But no, this game I thought, I'll be fine, I'm on. They don't look that bad. And actually the name wasn't that hard, right? So it was a substitution. So I've announced the guy that's coming off, and then when I'm announcing the guy that's coming on, it was a normal name. I can't even remember the player's name, right? But it was easy enough to read. But I made it sound more foreign than what it was, right? And it just got it totally wrong. And as I say, I work with a great bunch of guys in the PA booth with me, right? So I heard a wee snigger beside me, and then he set someone off beside them. So I heard them sort of starting to laugh, and then I've just sort of chuckled as well, just in the back of announcing this name. But I've not got the microphone down in time, so the whole stadium sort of heard me bust out laughing. And there's maybe about a half second to a second delay between the microphone and the speakers, for the sound coming out. And I've literally just heard 50,000 folk laugh back at me. Well, quite a lot of people laugh back at me. I don't know, there might have been others going, this is unprofessional, this is terrible. But the most of them sort of laughed back at me, and I was mortified. I had a few messages on Twitter that night, dare I say, you know what I mean? But I hold my hands up. It maybe was a wee bit unprofessional, but it gave most of us a laugh. It was just a genuine mistake. I made the guy sound more foreign than what he actually was with the way I announced his name. I've announced harder names since then, but it gave us a wee chuckle. So that's probably my biggest gaffe, and hopefully my last.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Of course, folk mentioned that they want birthday shout-outs and what have you at half-time. Have you had any strange requests or anything like that? But at that point.
Do you know what? The fans are brilliant. Always, if they get a birthday or anniversary or the first game at Ibrox, we had the game against Stirling Albion, and that was a game where families like to bring their younger ones. It's a more family-orientated game. It's not going to be a sellout, so you get a better chance to bring your kids along. So that particular game, there was a lot of kids getting announcements for their first time at Ibrox and things. And then actually there's the more sort of the sad ones of people that we've lost. Someone that's maybe lost a family member, can you give them a wee remembrance, a wee shout out at half time and things. Sometimes I find them tough to do. You want the matchday experience to be bright and cheery and stuff, but if you're doing something for a family member who's a diehard Rangers fan pass away, then absolutely no issues with that at all. It's good to put a smile on people's faces by getting a shout out. So they always seem to go well. I'll have a good read through them, because sometimes there's names that you've never seen before, or you've never seen it spelled that way before. You think, right, I better get this right, but I don't think there's ever been any mistakes made there. But you just spend a bit of time looking through what they're going to be, and then at half time obviously announce them out and just put the smile on the fans' faces, which is great. Yeah,
cracking. And finally then, Michael, I mean, on the park, how do you see the season finishing? It's been a good start under Gio. Do you see them winning the league title again this year?
Oh, definitely. You've got a great squad, fantastic squad. Great to see. Aribo's done brilliant for his country, but it's good to see him going to be back in time for the end of January, for the beginning of February, for a decent game that hopefully we'll win. And for the rest of the season, if we stay mostly injury free, we've got great players in that squad, and I can see them delivering 56, no bother. You know what I mean? Absolutely. It's football, there maybe be the wee odd hiccup along the way, but there's other teams in the league that will have hiccups as well, and I think we'll probably have less of them, and quite comfortably I think we'll go on to win 56.
Yeah, here's hoping. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, Michael. Thank you very much for joining us.
Derek, absolutely brilliant. Good to talk to you, mate, and I'll see you again soon.